Hey guys, it's Glenn from Glenn'sCarCollection.com, and we're driving the BMW M8 convertible. So this will be a great video. You've probably already seen our video of the M8 Coupe competition. So this is not a competition model, but the M8 convertible. And it is an awesome car, so we're gonna take it out for a spin. It's finally a warm enough fall day in New Jersey to do this. And a lot of these things a lot of stuff with the car interior and stuff, I've gone over in the M8 Coupe video. So I'll link this at the very end of the video. Watch it all the way through, hit that video. Whatever wasn't covered in this video was already covered there. Because I know a lot of you watch both videos and I don't want to have a redundant video, all right? So, but the good thing in this video, we got the top off and it is awesome. This car sounds great. I think it's gorgeous. It's got a ton of power. So this is not the competition. So it's got 600 horsepower from a 4.4 liter V8 twin turbo engine, and it is fast. Now it weighs a little bit more than the Coupe. The Coupe's about 4,300 pounds. This is about 4,500 pounds, which isn't bad for a convertible. My Audi S8, which is obviously a Coupe, weighs 4,400 pounds. This car has some really good options here, like the Bowers & Wilkins sound system, which is well worth it and cost about $3,400. All right, guys, before we drive it, let's go over the window sticker. So for the convertible, base price for the regular M8 convertible is $142,500. Now this Motegi Red Metallic, which is gorgeous, is actually a free color. And the interior is optional. This is the full merino leather interior, and that's $3,500. We mentioned previously in our M8 competition Coupe video, you should get the driver's assistance package for $1,100. You get the parking assistance plus the drive recorder, the active blind spot detection, lane departure warning, active park distance control, rear view camera, and then surround view 3D view. Now in the M8 competition, we did more on the camera, so check out that video, which I said I'd link at the end. And then for $1,700, definitely worth it if you're spending this kind of dough, the driver's assistance pro package with the extended traffic jam assistant. BMW has finally come around to remote start. So this has a remote engine start standard, just like the M8 Coupe competition. You get the M Sport differential, you get the 20-inch M double spoke bi-color wheels, which look really sharp. You get the power tailgate. The only options we have that you really need here, you got a neck warmer. Today was a warm day. You get a neck warmer here for $500, well worth it if you want to have the top-down motoring. That's really good. And then the only other option, and this is a must to me, Bowers & Wilkins sound system, $3,400. And then for $2,500 here, the M Drivers package, which is well worth it as well. So that gives us a total price with $1,000 for gas guzzler tax, $995 for destination, and $145 for floor mats. We have a total as tested price for this particular car, $157,340. And if you're interested in this particular car, it is for sale, and we'll give you the details at the end of the video. All right, guys, before we take it for a drive, let's go over the interior. Now, we did a lot on the interior on the M8 competition Coupe, so watch that video. I already posted that video. Watch this video all the way to the end, and then you can, last 20 seconds, you can click on the link for that video in the box, and we went over the interior in detail. So we're gonna do a little shortened version here. All right, so first of all, the steering wheel. I love the steering wheel. It's just the right thickness. A lot of people try to imitate BMW M cars and make the steering wheel too thick or similar thickness, but after you drive it for an hour or two, your hands get really cramped. This you could drive all day. You got a nice 9-3 grip here. You have your, most important, your M1 and M2 buttons, so you can have two different settings. Make one very efficient, make one very aggressive, and then you're all good to go. Paddle shifters up and then down. They're big enough, they're easy to see, they look nice. Here you have all your safety and cruise control. Here you have your phone, your Bluetooth. And BMW is finally genius. On my M2, the heated seat is like underneath here. I think it's on the left side. It's hard to find when you need it. Front and center, heated seat. And again, here you have your heated seats, your air conditioning. I have the air conditioning off just so we don't have the fan noise right here. You have your radio. Definitely click the box for the $3,400 for the Bowers & Wilkins. It's well worth it. And this is where I keep the screen on most of the time. So here you can do your engine, efficient, Sport Plus. We'll drive around in Sport Plus in all those modes. Chassis. So usually I do Sport Plus or Sport for the engine, Same with steering, and then the chassis, usually even in comfort. So if you want to change, it's very easy. You just roll the iDrive and you press the button. It'll go to the next one. You press the button back, it'll go. So it's very easy to do. And then we'll go over this brake and brake sport, and there's your four-wheel drive. And if you can take the DSC off, which we won't do in this video, you can drive in rear-wheel drive. And here you have the speakers for the Bowers & Wilkins, the beautiful door, the beautiful seats, the beautiful leather dash, and it is just a gorgeous car. And then depending what settings you have, the instrumentation here will actually change. And then you have your heads-up display in front of you. I think with the sun glare, we're not going to see it, but you can see you have your tachometer and speed. And then, of course, everything here, the speed limit, how much gas you have, temperature controls, and outside temperature. And that's the interior. What I really like about this car here is how it's configurable. We can drive in a very comfort mode like we are now, and then really ramp it up and make it a true sports car by configuring some of the settings. Now this actually replaces the 6 Series, and what's good is it actually, the 8 Series is actually smaller than the 6 Series, so that doesn't happen too often where you actually wind up with a smaller car. All right, so already with this car, as you can tell, I love the interior. The top goes up and down in about 15 seconds, and this is probably, getting back to the interior, is probably one of the best BMW interiors I've seen in a long time. And it is well worth it for this car, let me tell you. I am so excited to drive this car. All right, so now driving around town on some of these bumpy roads, I have it in efficient mode and comfort. So typically, I would drive in the most comfortable chassis settings, and I would drive, you know, leave the engine in Sport or Sport Plus, leave the steering in Sport or Sport Plus. And all right, so now we're in Sport with the engine. We'll hear a little more noise here. And we can even go into Sport Plus with the engine. It's very easy to configure this. I'm going to leave the suspension on comfort because the roads are still bumpy until we get some smooth roads. We have comfort or sport steering. I like the sport steering. It's a little heavier. And again, it's a heavy car, but obviously thanks to electronics, it handles very, very well. Now there's also a sport brake that we got into more with the M8 Competition Coupe. That's ensuring kind of the brake travel if you were on a racetrack or a mountain road. We don't need that to do with convertible. This is going to have a more relaxed feel to it. Now, just like the M8 Coupe and the M5, this is an all-wheel drive car, but you can go into rear-wheel drive mode, which almost makes this 2 cars in one. Here in the North, I love rear drive cars. Here in the Northeast, we get bad weather. You're not going to be able to use the convertible all the time. So this can be an all year round car with the all-wheel drive. All right, now we'll get in some smooth roads, so we'll take more turns. We'll go a little stiffer on the chassis. And the handling is excellent. We have a really good heads-up display, which we'll get into, which we got into more on the M8 Coupe. It shows you your speed limit, shows you the speed that you're going. The brakes are phenomenal. A ton of power with this turbocharged V8. I love turbo V8s. I love naturally aspirated engines, but I'm telling you, these turbos are convincing me. Especially around town or passing on the highway, you always have power, even at low RPMs. Now we went through some tight turns there, and we still have really good handling, and the car stays pretty flat. All right, now what we're gonna do, we're gonna get on the main road here, and it wouldn't be windy to drive, but it'll be windy with this microphone and camera setup. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna put the top up right now. So what it does is bring the windows down, and in about 15 seconds or so, we should have the top all the way up, and then we can talk a little easier here. All right, movement complete. It actually said movement complete before the windows went up, but the top is complete. Now you see it's much quieter in here. This top is very insulated. You heard all the road noise before. Now look how quiet it is in here. And we still have a dump truck right there. So it just shows you how this can really be two cars in one, and that's what I really love about it. I think the looks are to die for. I think the 8 Series looks gorgeous, whether it's a coupe or convertible. You have everything you need here. You have heated seats. I have the climate control off just so you don't hear any of the fan noise, since I have the microphone right here. You have your M settings on the steering wheel, so you can do 2 M modes. It says M8 front and center on the dash here, so you can see it. Motorcycle. I would definitely go for the Bowers & Wilkins stereo system for $3,400. It's an amazing system. Let's accelerate. Wow, now this has a ton of power. Now, because it's convertible, it's probably slightly slower than the coupe. But who cares? It's an M8. It's still very fast. You got a ton of torque under your right foot. That's really ready to go at any RPM. And that's what I love about this turbocharged engine, especially that it's a V8 on top of that. The turbos are in the hot V of the engine, so you always have power ready to go. Now it's got the lane assist here. I tried to go around that puddle and it actually pulled me back in. Realistically, you're probably going to shut those nannies off, but it's great to have it. You get a lot of stuff for the driver assistance package, which we went over specifically in the M8 Coupe video, and for $1,100 it's definitely worth it. You get all the safety features. If you're spending this much money on the car, be safe. Now, even with our Sport Plus engine and the chassis tuning and the steering, see how comfortable it is in here. See how, and this camera shakes over every little bump, but see how smooth and how good the ride is in here. All right, so let's turn around here. Good turning radius. I mean, it's a big car, but good turning radius. I'm going to drive in manual mode now, and we're going to try to do a little acceleration up here. And then I'll tell you what I like and what I don't like about the BMW M8 convertible. And again, special thanks to BMW of Tenafly for letting us drive this car and providing it to me. And I know if you like this car or any other cars, they can get you a really good discount. All right, let's go. Wow, is that fast? Oh my God, this is such a fast car. This felt, you know, the competition only has 17 more horsepower. Competition package, we went over this in the other video, 10 millimeters lower, stiffer suspension, some other tweaks. But, you know, honestly, you don't need it. You don't need it. What I would shed off is these lane nannies for sure. But otherwise, you really don't need it. It is that awesome of a car. You wouldn't feel 17 horsepower unless you really need a stiffer suspension. But to me, do you want the stiffer suspension on a convertible? Coupe, I totally get it. I'd probably go for the competition coupe and probably go for the regular M8 convertible. And that's exactly, luckily, how we're reviewing them. Now it's got the ZF 8-speed auto, and it is a great torque converter automatic transmission. It's in over 80 cars now, believe it or not. So it's in my Audi S8, it's in the Jaguar F-Type, the Giulia Quadrifoglio, the M5, and it is really a great transmission. It is almost as good as a dual clutch, and it's a lot better around town than a dual clutch, which is most important. All right, so now that I've been driving this around a while, what do I like and what do I not like about the BMW M8 convertible? Well, the first thing I'm going to do is show you what I do like. And what I do like is the power! Wow. So you actually have lights here like a Formula One, green, yellow, red, as you approach the red line. And it is really an amazing car how fast it is, you know. Now this is smaller than my Audi S8, So even though it looks like a big car, it's big, but it's not as big as you think. So I love the power, I love the looks, love this engine. This engine's to die for. Transmission is great. Is there anything, and I love that you can go between all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive. So rear-wheel drive drift mode, if you will. But 90% of the time you keep in the all-wheel drive. When you want to hoon the car, you put it in rear drive and you're all set. Really the best of both worlds. I used to be so against M cars having anything to do with all-wheel drive, but now I'm coming around to it, because when you live here in the Northeast, you know, you need the all-wheel drive most of the time, unfortunately. Now, is there anything I don't like? Well, you know, you're going to have to spend money to get one. They're not cheap. They are, you know, bigger, heavier cars. I look at this more as a fast luxury car than an all-out sports car. Think of it as, you know, a two-door M5 convertible. That's the way I think of it, because the 8 Series has really replaced the 6 Series. And like I mentioned before, the 8 Series is actually smaller than the 6 Series. So that's a really, really, really good thing. All right, so when this light turns green, we'll take it on some more back roads, and we'll test out the handling. Here we go. Let's test out the ZF2. I'm going to put it in manual mode. Now we have the engine on Sport Plus, the steering in Sport. I like the brakes on Comfort. I don't really like the Sport brake. I'm sure that's something that you could add. Not add, I mean get used to. I'm sure if I had it on a mountain road for a day or on these back roads for a day, I could get the feel for the Sport brake, but I'm so used to the regular power brakes that I might as well keep it on there, because that's what I'm used to. So you do feel the weight a little bit in the turns, and you do feel the weight a little bit more than the coupe. So this is probably more of a fast cruiser, where the coupe is a, you know, a sharper car for the turns. Again, I love this interior. I think this is the best BMW interior, at least I've ever been in. And I've owned over 100 cars and have done 600 car reviews. The ZF transmission shifts great. So we did feel the weight in the turns a little bit, but if you live where there's open roads, then it's a non-issue. The 8-speed ZF does go up and down great. So it's really good around town, driving in an automatic mode. Most dual clutches, even my McLaren, are terrible in automatic mode. All right, guys, as we head back to the dealership, this is going to be the end of our review. So remember to like, share, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next video. Thank you for watching to the end. I'm going to link in the last 20 seconds the M8 competition coupe video. You'll definitely want to watch that. What wasn't covered in this video will be covered there. Remember, special thanks to BMW of Tenafly for providing the car. They're in Tenafly, New Jersey. And if you want to buy this exact car or any new or pre-owned BMW in stock, just contact them, tell them Glenn sent you, they'll give you a special price. A couple of you have already done that and had great experiences, so thank you to BMW of Tenafly for doing that. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you next time.